Welcome back to Storm and Rambles On. We got a new one today, episode number 2. So if you watched episode number 1, appreciate it. Today we're going to talk a little Florida football. So a friend of mine on Facebook, not like a close friend or anything like that, they asked the question, and they've asked it one, maybe twice over the last couple of weeks. And I didn't answer him because I've talked football with him before, and he's a little bit too sensitive for me. He takes things a little bit too seriously for me, so I'm just going to make a video about it. Because it's a good question. He asked, what good does it do Florida to fire Billy Napier now, rather than wait until the end of the season? And this was posed before they beat Texas. And I know some narratives have changed since they beat Texas for some people. But he's not a Florida fan. He's an Alabama fan. So it makes sense that he wouldn't really know what we're going through at the moment, since most Alabama fans didn't exist before Nick Saban came along. So I got some points here that I like to make. And one about Billy Napier himself, and one about the program in general. Like, what would be a reason to get rid of Napier at this point, other than the fact that he's under 500 as a coach? Other than the fact that he is the worst coach Florida has had since World War II. First of all, it's his play calling. His play calling is mediocre at best. Mediocre at best. He calls plays don't make any daggum sense. And I've heard people say, well, he called the right play, it just didn't get executed. Well, isn't that your job to make sure your players execute it? Seems like it would be. But like, it'll be like third down, and he'll call a bubble screen behind the line of scrimmage, and then it'll get blew up, and we'll lose like 2-3 yards. And then now we're in 4th and long, and we got to punt it. Or he'll call, we have arguably the best running back in the league, but you wouldn't know that because he never uses him. He'll call like 2 running plays with Jaden Ball and then sit him down, and you won't see him again for a while. So his play calling is just boring. It's elementary, as in elementary school. As in if there was an elementary school that had a football program, it would probably work there. But like, it's just so vanilla. Like, nothing exciting about it. And you know, if your team had a coach that called vanilla plays and they were boring and it wasn't an offense that was fun to watch, but you were winning games, well, that would be all right. Like, you could probably deal with that. Now, I know some people, some podcasts I listened to that talked about when Billy got hired. You know, they had gone and looked at his offense and his offense that he ran at Louisiana, and they're like, not really my style, not really a fun kind of offense, but if he gets the job done, he gets the job done. Well, he has not got the job done. Second, his game management. His game management. Boy, I don't know if I need to tell you that. I don't know if I need to tell you this. It's awful. The timeouts, calling a timeout when we shouldn't. And I'm not talking about, the end of the game versus Texas. I'm talking about in general, whole 4 years he's been here. Calling a timeout when you shouldn't call a timeout, or not calling a timeout when you should call a timeout. There was a timeout he called in the Texas game where after the play, the announcers were like, is Billy going to call a timeout? Like, this is a good situation to call a timeout. And then 20 seconds went by or something like that. And then he finally called it. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Not to mention all the problems we've had on special teams where we run out there with not enough guys or too many guys and things like that. Well, we don't have a special teams coach because when Billy came in, he's like, instead of a special teams coach, we're going to hire another offensive line coach. So we have 2 offensive line coaches, but no special teams coach. And our special teams ain't great. Like, it ain't terrible, but it ain't great. Our offensive line, not terrible, but it's not great. Like, if you got 2 coaches coaching your offensive line, like, it should be a juggernaut. Like, it should be unstoppable. Thirdly, he's not a killer. He's not a killer. You know, most of the great coaches, just, you know, Florida, Spurrier, Urban, but even if you look at like Kirby Smart, Nick Saban, people like that, when they get up in the game, they want to score again. Like, say you're beating someone 21-7. What do you want to do? You want to score again, and as many times as you can. You want this final score to be 53-7. You don't let off the gas just because you have the lead. That's what Will Muschamp did when he was here. Like, he would get up, okay, I have the lead, and then he'd let his foot off the gas, call some conservative plays instead of going for the throat, which is what we want. I mean, I feel like anybody when you want to look back on your schedule at all your opponents and be like, man, we beat the crap out of them. We don't want to go, oh yeah, we beat them by 1 point. We beat them by a field goal. We barely squeaked by with that game. Destroy them. So those are some reasons, I think, for firing Billy. His record stinks. His play calling is vanilla. He can't manage the game very good. Apparently, he can't manage the players very good because DJ ain't looked too good this year. And they're, oh, well, he missed all of the off-season practice. Like, well, you know, we're a month and a half into the season now. And he's not a killer. Like I said, he's not a killer. We want a coach that don't just want to win. He wants to avalanche people. Like, leave no question, no doubt who the better team was when the game is over. What would firing Billy do for the fan base, for the program, the fan base? Well, for one thing, it will give us hope. It will give us some hope. Okay, these dark days are behind us now, and we can look forward to the future because we don't know what that holds. We could hire the next coach. I know everybody wants it to be Lane Kiffin, but what if that don't work out? What if that don't happen? But we can look forward to the next coach. Maybe the next coach is also a bust. We don't know. But that's the good part. We can be hopeful about it because we don't know. Firing him now, which I understand he beat Texas. Let's give him a few more inches on his leash. But firing him before the end of the season would send a message from the athletic department, from Scott Strickland in general, that you care about the football program. Because if you're going to let this continue, that kind of tells me you don't care about winning. You don't care about the prestige that Florida has. You don't care about, you know, bringing those days back from the past. And then not firing him, just further down the pit. Like, every game, every stupid thing we see just puts us further and further down that pit. And I don't want to become Nebraska. You know, back in the day, Nebraska was a powerhouse. But that's been like 30 or 40 years ago. Like, nobody is scared of Nebraska these days. So I don't want that to don't want that to happen. So it's obvious he's not great. Actually, that's an understatement. He's terrible as a head coach. He won't hire an offensive coordinator to call the plays for him. And his stubbornness is why he's in this situation that he's in now. Every post-game press conference where they lose, well, we just didn't execute out there. You know, we need to execute better. You've had 4 years. Why aren't they executing better? Like, this is The record against the rivals is horrid. The record against the SEC is terrible. Like, in most situations, like, oh, well, when we hired Billy Napier, they're like, well, you don't have to be patient with this guy. He's going to do this, and it's going to take time. It's been 4 years. Honestly, you don't need 3. After 3, you can kind of figure out if a coach is going to work out or not. And, I mean, we've lost to teams that we had no right losing to. Like, talent-wise, you just compare talent to talent. We shouldn't have lost to those teams. So, the buyout, $19 million. Last year, the buyout was like $25 million, I think it was, and we came up with the money. The boosters came up with the money. Pretty sure they can come up with $19 million. Whoever needs to come up with it. Pretty sure we can do that, because I've heard people say, well, Florida ain't got the money for that buyout. I'm pretty sure we do. Okay? Calm down on that. We can handle it. And then we go out and we got to pay, millions of dollars to the next coach. Hopefully not give him a stupid contract with a massive buyout like every school seems to do these days, us included. But I'm pretty sure we can swing that. I ain't worried about that part. I'm worried about making the right choice. But the thing is, we let Billy go. And, you look at the schedule. Like, how many more wins do we have on that schedule? Maybe 2 or 3? Is that what we want to do? Do we want to, win 4 or 5 games and be like, oh, well, that was good enough. That was pretty good. Because people are talking about, well, if you did this to Texas, I don't know how good Texas is. It didn't look very good. But people seem to think, because of what happened Saturday, that we're just going to go on a tear the rest of the season, beating people left and right. And I just don't think it's going to happen that way. Yes, it happened last year that way, when it was a little bit too late. But I just don't see that happening. And that's just not, I don't want to, finish this season and they're like, oh, well, we're going to keep Billy around, see if he can't turn stuff around next year. And then next year, because we've had this for 2 years now, the last 2 years, we come out sucking eggs, and then the second half of the season it picks. I don't want that as my normal. I don't want that to be the normal. So say we retain Billy Napier and keep him into the next season, and we're going to give him another chance. Year 5 next year, he's going to get it turned around, and then we come out the gate, lose 2 or 3 games, before September's even over. Like, I don't want that to be the normal going forward. But, I ain't in charge of nothing. I don't get to make no decisions. I just know I've seen enough. It's like Billy Napier is almost like our Willie Taggart. And I'm ready to move on from him. And I understand the logic. People's like, whoa, this and that and the other thing. Because that's kind of direction my friend was going in. It was like, it doesn't help you. Well, the portal being what it is, coach gets fired, portal opens for 30 days. And most of these players are probably going to leave. Like, we understand that. We don't care. It's fine. DJ's probably going to leave. All those good receivers we got, running backs, probably going to leave. But would we rather have that or have the coach and the players go, okay, we got the good players. Yeah, but the coach don't know what to do with them. He don't know how to utilize them. So I understand the logic. It's a lot of money. This and that, the other thing, the portal, transfers and whatnot. But at this point, I would just rather have hope. I would rather have something to look forward to. Because at the end of this season, if we go into the next season with the same coach, I'm positive we're going to get more of the same. Losing games we ain't supposed to lose. Winning a couple games we ain't supposed to win. But at the end of the season, watching everybody else go to the playoffs while we go to the Cheetos Bowl or something. if we even make a bowl game, because I'm not even sure we're going to make the bowl game this year. Anyway, I've rambled on about Billy Napier, and we'll probably do some more. We'll probably do some more episodes on Gators stuff in the coming weeks while the season's going on. But, like I said, we're going to talk about a little bit of everything on this channel. But today, that was just in my crawl. I just had to talk about it. Anyway, appreciate y'all watching. If you did, I haven't even checked to see who watched my last video, the first episode. I know I watched it. So there's one view. So we'll see how many other people watched it. But I appreciate y'all watching, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Go Gators, and y'all have a lovely weekend.